And welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. You know, every once in a while, we like to just talk to interesting people about something that has turned their life a certain direction. Maybe they thought their calling was going one way. Maybe you turned around and went a completely different way. Today's kind of one of those days. We are visiting with Mike Mills, who I bumped into last week, and his wife, Nina Gordon Crane. And good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
I think before we get into really why you're here, I think a little background would be terrific. So let's talk about your stories. Which one of you would like to go first and kind of tell your story? And they're battling who gets to go first. They both want to go first. Mike, let's start with you. Tell me a little bit about you.
Okay, I've been a carpenter for 30 plus years. I am a believer in the Lord, follower too. Approximately 30 years ago, my parents set me up in a unique way for this business that we're doing now. So my dad told me a long time ago, he was a carpenter too, and I was working with him, and he said, you know, if you could specialize in something, like a branch of carpentry, that would be good, because you could get really good at it, and you could make clients very happy.
Yes.
So I kept that in mind along the way, and approximately 20 years ago, after my dad had passed away, my mom asked me to go through the house, put up grab bars and handrails wherever we deemed necessary. So
Throughout the whole house.
Throughout the, but in the bathroom, in the hallways, and landings, outside with the vinyl handrail, which is always a good move. And I did, and it allowed her to live in the home for 20 plus years with no major falls. Wow. Up until the week that she went into hospice. So I knew that that gave me great pleasure to help Mom get through her time at living alone in the home. And I thought if I could do it for her, that I could do it for somebody else.
Yes, that really did plant a seed. First of all, I think some of God's favorite people are carpenters.
I do enjoy carpenter work.
Think about it.
Correct.
So you were able to keep her in her home that whole time by strategically putting guardrails in special places. Was this a two-story home? Was she on one floor?
It was a two-story home.
So she was doing steps up until how long?
She actually had a stair lift put in.
Okay, well, that's smart.
Which helped a lot.
Yes. Was this the home you grew up in? Was this your boyhood home?
Yes. Yeah,
so she really, and isn't that one of the things that is just really hardest on people as they age? One of those things is being put out of where you feel so comfortable. And you've got all of your memories right there, and you kind of want to stay home. And that's one of the hardest things, is when home is not safe anymore, you're making it safe.
Her and my dad actually built the house.
Oh, my. Yeah. Wow. Is it still in the family at all?
It's not.
Sold it.
Things rarely stay the same after a certain point.
Yes.
Except for God. Most everything will change at some time.
Well, let's talk about, first of all, what's the name of your business?
I ended up calling it Safer Balance.
Safer Balance. And how long have you been doing this part of it, Mike?
Well, I've done it on the side for 20 years. However, when I got cancer in 2015 and sent home to die, and didn't die, thank God, I do give the Lord the honor and the respect for healing me. I thought, if I'm not going to do it now, when am I going to do it?
Yeah.
So that was the turning point where I thought, okay.
Make it a specialty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen to what Dad said and look at the need that Mom had. Put them together and create a fall prevention business. So we do showers, walk-in shower tub conversions, and I rebuild steps that are in disrepair. That would be a trip hazard.
Yes.
A lot of times there's handrails that are needed going from the garage to the house. So that's a big item, and I do it all over the home, inside and out, grab bars, wherever a handhold is needed.
You know, as baby boomers are getting older and older, it probably would be a good time to walk through our homes and look for those tricky places.
Yes.
What should we look for? You mentioned a couple. Give us a tour through our house. What are the danger zones?
Well, anywhere there's a change in elevation, steps is huge. Around the toilet, obvious reasons. The shower is huge. The bathtub, landings. The basement steps can be really unsafe.
Yes.
Because sometimes concrete floors are very unforgiving.
And sometimes those steps in the older homes are just like planks, very gingerly put together. There are even spaces between them and so forth, and they just seem very, very dangerous. And older homes, where's the washer and dryer? Down in the basement. So it just seems like as we're getting older, our houses become less our friend. Is that a fair statement?
Right. And a lot of times the steps up in the front of a home are too tall. They're not code.
Yes. So you are part of this, Nina. You are co-owner of the business?
Yes, I am. When we dated, he said, I want you to be partners with me in this business. And we weren't even married. I'm like, oh, I'll market you, but I don't know about that.
That's so cool.
So he married me.
Tell me your background. Okay, you said you're the more marketing person?
Right. Yeah. I lived in Minneapolis for 20 years, and I had a company called the Robin Group. So I was a branding girl. So I would name companies and develop their logos. And I kind of stumbled along a process called rainstorming that allowed me to sit down with the business owners and chicken scratch and them lead me to a visual solution in a little 3-hour window of time. So that was kind of my little specialty.
Consulting's where it's at, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Absolutely, because deep down, I think everybody knows the answer. They just need somebody to come from outside and affirm, yep, you got it. That's exactly right.
It was a lot of fun.
So what brought you to Ohio?
Well, I'm from Canton.
Oh.
And I was in a bit of a personal road to Damascus. I had a sick child, and, it made for some difficulties up in Minneapolis. So I just came home for a little bit to take a break. And I wound up staying here. My parents were here, and I kind of rebuilt my life. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was a difficult journey, but I found the Lord, and I'm just thrilled. I'm pinching myself.
When did you marry?
10 years ago in November. And we knew each other from high school, and we had been on 2 dates like 35 years ago.
No kidding.
That's true.
My sister was the fix-up. So.
That is so fun.
Yeah, it is.
So at what point did the cancer diagnosis come in?
2015.
2015.
Yeah.
So you were married.
Yeah.
All right. You think, wow, everything has just come full circle and life is grand.
Right.
And then you get hit between the eyes with that. What was your response, Nina?
Right. I think kind of like when my daughter was sick from the time she was a baby, we have a way as people of kind of you just sort of have to rise to the occasion and you just do what you need to do. And so when I look back, I don't remember myself in tears falling apart at the time. You just kick into high gear, and, I had to be major support, and especially I had 2 young girls in the home. And we wanted to demonstrate fear, not faith. At one time, my older daughter, Olivia, said, does he still have cancer?
Faith, not fear.
Faith,
we
not
knew
fear.
what you meant.
Yeah.
We've got that.
Sorry about that. But anyway, we wanted to try to teach. So, we were afraid and things like that. But I just tried to do what I needed to do. But it was hard.
How important is it to speak all of the positive things and not let yourself be speaking the negative things? How important is that?
Yeah, it really is. You can train yourself, and then our kids are watching. And the more you speak it, we speak our world with our words. And we got our outcome. We were promised nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, let's go back to that a minute. You said you were sent home to die, Mike. I had no idea. I've just learned this today. You had no good prognosis at all. Well, how did you respond to that?
That's a good question. I spent a week saying goodbye to people. Even though they gave me 9 months, I went through those different stages that they talk about. I was it had my attention.
Yeah.
I was a little weepy at times.
Sure.
And at times I was stronger. I put my big boy pants on, or whatever happens, happens. But
at any point, did you feel like you had God telling you, "Nah, that's not my plan. I'm going to do something else, like heal you"?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, as I was being wheeled into the operating room, I heard the Lord say, and I quote, "You're going to be okay."
Wow.
Yes, and I'm going to interject here. That's after Michael told me, he said to God, "I want to live, but I'm going to trust you."
Uh-huh.
So that came first.
I want to live, but I'm going to trust you.
I prayed. I said, "Lord, you know my heart. You know I really want to live. However, whatever happens, I trust you with my life."
Yeah.
And I think...
And he said, "You're going to be okay." Mm-hmm. Did you know this, Nina?
Oh, no, not at the time. Absolutely not. We'd wheeled him off. So
yes.
It's a great builder of my faith, though, to know that he was willing to trust like that.
How about doctors' faiths? When they see something that they know they've given you this and everything they've got to go on says that something is supposed to happen and something else completely happens, this had to be some kind of a testimony to the doctors in your life.
Right. He was also happened to be a very world-class surgeon. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't have found a better guy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
let's give him a shout out. What's the name of this person?
David Geller, UPMC in Pittsburgh.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
He's a very humble man, very kind, and he backs everything up with his talent and knowledge and wisdom and kindness. He's very kind.
And does he recognize this was pretty miraculous?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been given no hope, and suddenly you've got hope.
As a matter of fact, he expected a reoccurrence. He said, "You have, I think it was 80 to 90% chance of reoccurrence."
Oh, my.
And
hasn't happened.
That hasn't happened. Mm-hmm. And I'm approaching the 5-year mark.
That's awesome.
So that's very, very good. And,
so what does a man do when he's been given 9 months and suddenly, sky's the limit, it's 5 years later, and you've got nothing but future ahead of you? What does that do to a person's outlook?
Rearranges your priorities, definitely. I'm a lot more mellow now. I like to think that I'm kinder now. I don't get rattled about certain situations that maybe rattled me before. It's all good. I'm loving life, loving my wife, family. It's awesome.
That's pretty
awesome.
It
was a transformation. He
Wow.
is transformed.
Let's hear it from. Do you mind if I ask it from your wife?
Sure.
Okay, tell me about this transformation, Nina.
Yeah, no, he's just glad to be here, and in situations that he would have been a lot more high strung or a little chippy with me, or we had a fair amount of that. Second marriage, can be kind of tricky, bringing in your baggage.
Marriage is that way.
Yeah,
yes.
And I'm really glad I waited it out. It is very rewarding. He is a different man, and he is the leader of our home. And he is walking with God, and we have found a fabulous church family, and he's doing his business with such a high level of integrity that is one of the biggest, I believe, reasons for our growth and repeat business and expansion, the integrity that Michael has.
Well, that does take us back to the business, and suddenly you got to work because you're still here.
Yeah.
So we're going to get back into that after these words. You're listening to Our Community.